The crystalline spires of the draconian imperial palace pierced the violet sky of Xerion Prime, their surfaces reflecting the twin suns in brilliant cascades of light. Within these magnificent halls, where power flowed like molten gold through every corridor, a small figure lay forgotten in the shadows of a forgotten wing. Prince Casimir, third son of Dragon Emperor Velthros, writhed in fevered agony on cold marble floors. His once lustrous scales had dulled to an ashen gray, and his breathing came in ragged gasps that echoed through the empty chambers. The palace physicians had declared his condition inconsequential, a rare genetic anomaly that affected only the weakest of Dragonborn. The other princes were healthy and strong. What need was there to waste resources on the runt? Even the servants avoided this wing now. All except one. Raza pushed his cleaning cart down the abandoned corridor, the wheels squeaking against the polished stone. He was human, a species the Draconians barely tolerated within their empire. Humans were useful for menial labor, nothing more. They lacked the dragon's natural magic, their ability to soar through space on wings of pure energy, their 1,000-year lifespans. They were, as the nobles often said, insignificant specks in the grand design of the universe. But Raza had something the dragons had forgotten in their arrogance: compassion. He found the young prince as he always did, alone, suffering, ignored. This time was different, though. Casimir's breathing was so shallow it was barely perceptible, and his small body was racked with violent tremors. "Hey there, little one," Raza whispered, kneeling beside the prince. His weathered hands, calloused from decades of service, gently touched the fevered scales. The prince's eyes fluttered open, ancient gold irises in a child's face filled with pain and confusion. The cleaner human," Casimir managed to whisper.
"Why do you
"Always come here?" "Because everyone deserves kindness," Raza replied simply. He'd brought water and small portions of food before, but now he could see it wouldn't be enough. The prince was dying and no one cared. No one except him. Without hesitation, Raza scooped the dragon child into his arms. Casimir was surprisingly light, his body small and fragile compared to his robust brothers. The prince whimpered at the movement, but Raza held him close, his voice a steady murmur of comfort. "Where are you taking me?" Casimir asked weakly. "To get you help," Raza said firmly. Real help. The journey through the palace was a gauntlet of shocked stares and outraged gasps. Noble dragons recoiled in disgust as the human cleaner carried the forgotten prince through their pristine corridors. Guards moved to intercept them, but something in Raza's eyes, a determination forged from a lifetime of being overlooked, made them hesitate. "Stop him," commanded Lord Thaxion, the Emperor's advisor. "A human does not touch royalty." But Raza didn't stop. He burst through the palace doors and into the city beyond. The prince clutched protectively against his chest. The draconian medical centers would never treat a human's request seriously, but Raza knew of another option. Dr. Naz Okafor ran the small humanitarian clinic in the city's human quarter. She had come to Xerion Prime as part of the Terran Medical Corps, one of the few programs that had earned grudging respect from the Draconians. Her expertise in xenobiology was unmatched, and she had saved lives that others had written off as hopeless.
Raza!"
she exclaimed as he burst through her clinic doors. "What in the—" She stopped mid-sentence as she saw what he carried. Is that Prince Casimir?" "He's dying, Naz," Raza panted, his human lungs burning from the exertion. "No one will help him. The palace physicians say he's worthless." Dr. Naz didn't hesitate. Her dark hands, steady from years of surgery, immediately began examining the young prince. Her scanner hummed as it analyzed his condition, and her expression grew grave. "Genomic cascade failure," she diagnosed. "His draconian DNA is rejecting itself. It's incredibly rare, but—" She paused, her mind racing through possibilities. "But treatable. I've seen similar conditions in other reptilian species." What followed were 72 hours that would reshape an empire. Dr. Naz worked tirelessly, combining human medical knowledge with draconian physiology in ways no one had attempted before. Raza never left Casimir's side, holding the prince's small hand as the treatment took effect. Word of the human's actions spread throughout the palace and beyond. Emperor Valthros himself arrived at the clinic, his massive form barely fitting through the door, rage and confusion warring in his ancient features. "You dare treat my son without permission?" he thundered at Dr. Naz. Your son was dying while you ignored him, she replied calmly, not backing down despite the dragon's imposing presence. Sometimes healing requires courage that royalty lacks. The Emperor's fury was interrupted by a weak but clear voice. Father? Prince Casimir sat up in his medical bed, his scales now shimmering with healthy iridescence. The treatment had not only saved his life, but awakened latent abilities that had been suppressed by his condition. Magical energy crackled around his small form. Not the raw power of his brothers, but something more refined, more controlled. My son, the Emperor whispered, seeing Casimir truly for the first time. But the prince's attention wasn't on his father. His golden eyes found Raza, who stood quietly in the corner, forgotten once again. The human saved me, Casimir said, his young voice carrying new strength. When no one else cared, he carried me to safety. He is my hero. In the days that followed, the Empire learned what one human's compassion could accomplish. Prince Casimir, now healthy and powerful beyond any previous measure, declared Raza and Dr. Naz to be under his personal protection. The young prince's gratitude became something more, a genuine bond that transcended species. Emperor Vaelthros, humbled by the realization that his worthless son possessed the rarest gift of all, the ability to inspire absolute loyalty, began to see humans differently. The Terran Medical Corps received unprecedented funding and support. Trade agreements were renegotiated. For the first time in centuries, humans were invited to serve in positions of true authority within the Draconian Empire. And in the highest tower of the Crystal Palace, a small dragon prince and an aging human cleaner would sit together each evening, watching the twin suns set over a galaxy that was slowly learning that greatness had nothing to do with the power you were born with, and everything to do with the compassion you chose to show. Raza never stopped being a cleaner. He took pride in his work. But now he cleaned the prince's personal chambers, and their conversations filled the halls with laughter that had been absent for too long. Why did you save me? Casimir asked one evening. Raza smiled, his weathered hands gentle as he adjusted the prince's blankets. Because sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change the universe. And in that moment, as Dragon Prince and Human Cleaner looked out at the stars, the universe felt a little more hopeful than it had before.